receiving things from source and then just speaking and not thinking at all. Hit me with a comment if that resonates with you, if you kind of feel that same energy. That's why I've taken like a month off, because anytime I think about what I should be doing, I kind of get hit with the stop what you're doing from the other side. Like source, I've been kind of intentionally, which sounds bad, fighting the flow of source to figure out how to better step into it, if that makes sense. Like, might as well suffer a tad bit in my own life if it will give me some level of understanding of how this game works, so that I can share it to other people that could last the test of time for generations. Isn't that the whole point? Aren't we supposed to suffer, to grow, to become, to embody? And it's all part of the journey. That's another sort of realization that I had. And I want to bring all this is going to come back to you, right? I am you. You are me. We're the same person in the spiritual space, right? You go in the spiritual realm, we're the same person. We call that non-duality. And so within that space where your existence isn't even real, right? We have this temporary physical existence, but outside of that, we have an eternal soul. This eternal soul, the idea of eternity is boggling to humanity because we can't quantify it. There is no quantifying something that is infinite. That is the nature of infinity. So when we think about, oh, well, you know, an eternity, an eternal soul, if we have one of those, what is that like? Well, it means like when you die here, that's within time here. But that soul, your higher version of yourself, has always existed. There's a version of yourself that's already been through however many conscious lifetimes that you will have or you will experience on your own conscious journey before you even had the first one. I know that sounds a little weird, but imagine your life right now. You're born into it. I don't know how old you are, but let's say a young kid. They're 5. That their highest self, their highest version already has the blueprint for what their life is going to look like, and every single decision that they are going to make, even though they believe it's free will, before they incarnated. Like, that's a nice place to be. So that's kind of what I've been wrestling with recently, trying to figure out, all right, so if I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be at all times, and it really just turns into a vibe check, like this is just D&D, and we're just gonna dice roll our way through the game, then the next most important thing is to just worry about your alignment. It's not about what quest to go on. It's not about what necessarily to do with your 5 senses. It's about the embodiment of that internal peace and state of mind and tranquility of just being present in the moment, knowing that everything is going to work out for you. And it will open miraculous doors for you. Just for example, and you never know how these are going to come. You're never going to know how these are going to come. I was not thinking about a certain topic in regards to health and medicine and the human body. And I hadn't had any downloads about it recently, but I've been very interested in the idea of disease in the past. I knew I had to do something about it. I had to get back to it. And just this morning, I was out on a walk and I ran into somebody, and we were talking about disease and heredity and how there is, history of a disease. What a fucking wild concept that is. History. That's crazy. No, stop it. You stop that. Release yourself from the chains of your ancestry. That's the advice I can give you on that one. You get what you give. So don't be giving your energy to negativity, and you'll get more positivity. It doesn't mean that all the negative bullshit is going to leave your life. However, you will be able to choose higher options when something happens that you perceive in the moment maybe as not being particularly positive. I mean, you can have something that's absolutely awful happens and you choose a better response. And because the thing was awful that happened, you have the other flip side of the coin of more gratitude, more love enter your life as this horror has created a void. You know, usually something bad happens and it destroys something in your life, but it doesn't actually destroy it. I think that's what we're gonna get. We're gonna center in on that concept for this video. In that, what you focus on is what you get. Okay, and bad things are actually good things, and good things are great things. Sounds crazy. It's not. Let me cook. So, if, going back to the original point of, God, dude, every video with me is a fever dream. This is insane. Little kid, incarnated, higher self knows his entire path. Your higher self is outside of this realm. It is outside of time and space. So therefore, it sees the future and it sees the past. It sees infinite timelines. It sees everything that you could possibly do, accomplish, become. Everything that you could embody in your lifetime. But to embody certain things, there are prerequisites. Just like in Dungeons and Dragons, you know, you need a certain intellect score in order to unlock, you know, combat reflexes. I don't know if that's right. Don't check me on that. It's been a while. I think you need a dexterity of 13 to unlock dodge. Okay? There, I got you on that one. But sometimes you have to go through those negative moments because they teach you so much about yourself and what you are willing to accept into your life. So I'll use bullying as an example. If you want to grow up to be somebody that is successful, somebody that is confident, somebody that really doesn't give a flying fuck about anyone else's opinions, they are their own main character. That soul probably is going to choose a bit of bullying. They're going to go through that at a young age. And you may say, well, like, why would you want to be bullied? Well, what the fuck do you mean? Why would you want to be bullied? You're having people on the outside, your five senses, come to you and treat you poorly. And you have to decide if they are right or if you are true. Usually when you get bullied, it's because you are being yourself and the other person is not willing to be themselves. And so they take that anger out on you because they don't understand you and they don't like how you are enjoying yourself and they have to put other people down to enjoy themselves. Right? So that's a beauty. That's a life lesson for them because they got to get over that. They get to learn. So the bullies in this situation learn. The bullied also learn. Because when somebody says something hurtful, like, I don't know who you are that's watching this, okay? But if I were to say, you're fat, does it make you mad? Be real. Does it make you mad if somebody says, you're dumb? You're stupid. You're a dumbass. Any of those words, anything that anybody could say to you that causes you to experience a little bit of anger, a little bit of anxiety, something of the lower emotions coming up. It's because there's a dissonance between what your perceived truth is and the soul truth. Maybe you are a little bit of an idiot. And so when people call you an idiot, you get upset because you consciously don't want to agree with them. You're going to say, I'm not an idiot, duh. But really, you're a idiot. It is what it is. And you have to grow. You have to come to terms with that. You know, when I was younger, I got bullied a lot because I was fat. And I coped so hard. I was the king of copium. Holy fuck. I can still remember those days. I'd be watching Twitch. I'd just be trolling the Twitch chat. Oh yeah. Not even Dorito dust fingers. Flamin' Hot Cheeto dust. Mountain Dew. Oh God, dude. Jesus. Yeah, and I'd be like, no man, I'm just big boned. I got a nice bench press. I got a nice squat. Because I was a football player, right? But I wasn't healthy. I was destroying myself. And I was fat, not because necessarily the amount of calories I was consuming, but because I was consuming out of a lower state. I was doing something out of fear, out of anxiety. I was running away from my feelings, and those feelings were really telling me like, hey, you're fat. And so to cope with it, I would just eat more food, which is wild levels of work. I mean, it is what it is. But once you get past that and you finally grow, then it opens new doors for you. Because then you start to release attachments to things. You start to release attachments to other people's opinions, the opinions of the matrix, the world outside of you, this world of Maya. So bullying is really important because it allows you then to walk through life in such a way that you can just observe it. You're not so attached to what people have to say about you because you know the truth. You know what's in here. That's what's important. Source, God, truth. That's the only thing that matters. Everything else is topical. Everything. And I mean, that's sort of how you can move your life into the best way humanly possible, and to position yourself is to always be positive. This is going to be like the motivational segment. Hey, whoa, motivation. Oh my God, dude. Yeah, we're going to do that. So maybe start off with a little bit of darkness, and then we'll break you out of prison. Okay. So most people that I have seen, including myself, this is how their life is structured. You're young. You start to grow up. You have teachers. You have doctors. You have parents. You have friends. You have all these people tell you everything you can be and everything you can't be. And then over time, as you have more emotion attached to certain thoughts, they become beliefs. And those beliefs create what you perceive. That goes into your subconscious. Just think about your subconscious as like a memory bank, a storage bank. It is like the sand castle playground. It is like the little box of sand. Okay? So your beliefs build this box of sand. And then what you perceive throughout your day-to-day life is going to be based off of your beliefs that you see. Okay? You don't have to see something to believe it, and that's part of the rewiring process. That's part of the motivation of this all, is to realize like, hey, bullying is important because bullying teaches you to ignore the sandbox, right? The external, and focus on the internal. Because when you focus on the internal, you can start to shift your beliefs to be more positive. most people don't have great lives because they have bad thoughts that they attach bad emotions to, and then that goes into that little sandbox, and then they spend way too much time in the lower emotions: fear, anxiety, apathy, doubt, anger, lust, greed, envy, pride, all of those. They spend way too much time down there. And you know why they spend too much time down there? Because that's the way this fucking game is built. It's designed to distract you. It's designed to distract you with every single frequency humanly possible other than God. Have you noticed that? It's everything except that one. And guess what? By the way, you don't have to go to church to get that one. You're never going to get that one in church. You're surrounded by people singing songs. What? What? Nah. Gotta go in the silence. Gotta go in the silence. No thought. Take no thought at all. Take off the garments, lay them at your feet, act like a child. Just sit there. Bliss. Just feel it. Just feel the present moment. Just try it. Just try it for me. Try it once. Give me 10 minutes of actual silence, of actual just presence. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to cross your legs, if you can. And I want you to feel your body. I want you to feel the energy on all your fingertips, okay? I want you to move that energy around your body. You are a masterpiece, human masterpiece, but we get so distracted with everything outside that we miss it. We just fucking miss it, man. And it sucks. It's kind of tragic. It is what it is. I mean, it is what it is. But that's what makes the game fun to play. That's what makes it fun to play. You learn things, you grow, you hit a wall, you suffer because you ran into a fucking wall, it hurt. And then you're like, all right, how can I get past this? And then you have to integrate new life lessons in, new growth lessons in, and then you keep transcending yourself. You keep dying. All right? You keep dying over and over and over again and reincarnating. Okay? It's not like you don't die once in your physical body when you're like 80 or 90 years old. You die every single fucking day. You die all the time. You can die multiple times a day. When you decide, I'm not that version of me anymore. I am this. I am something better. I am more. I'm more connected. That's a choice. You just changed the universe that you live in. You just changed it all. I think that's something that spirituality, I think, needs to focus heavily on, is the fact that, hey, you got to back yourself out from the present moment and realize that your decisions can lead to literally anything you want it to be, but sitting in the present moment in fear of not knowing what to do instead of just doing something is probably the number one reason that you're still stuck. And it's kind of the paradox of that, because you're in fear because you don't know what to do, but to alleviate that fear, you need to do something that's completely random. And the only way to kind of get an inkling of an idea, I'd assume for you guys, because we're not all the same. We're not all the fucking same here. So like, I always love to throw it back to the true geniuses of this age. And those are the people that are the artists, the bakers. There's a guy at the gym that he's like a fucking director. Like, dude, that's sick. But for him, like, he's not going to sit around and just not do anything because he's in fear of like, oh, well, I'll never be successful. No, he'd rather embody this success in the moment, right now, have the belief system. So he's rewiring his brain. Hey, I am successful. I'm a successful director. My movies slap. Everybody loves what I make. I have a cult following. All these type of positive thoughts, if you have them enough and you keep within the vibe of them, like, how would you feel, bro? How would you feel if you had a cult following? You know, you had like millions of people watching you and they're like, I love everything you produce. Yeah, you'd feel incredible. You feel like $1 million. And so you act like $1 million. And the ideas that you'd get would be inspiring. They'd be motivational. And that's really that's the nectar. That's the gold that we get from God, but we have to access the frequency first. I know I went a lot of places there, but kind of to sum it up is if you're batting from down here, don't expect to get thrown a home run pitch, okay? You have to walk in to the box up here. You have to walk in with that big dick energy, crazy dick energy, where it's just like, nah, I already won. You can't beat me because I already saw me hoisting the trophy. How could you win? How could you win? I'm the operant power. I'm the operant creator of my reality. I decide the beliefs that fit into my life to make it the best possible. Because when I'm the best possible, then I can touch the most other souls and they're the best possible. And that spreads like a rippling effect until it turns into a tsunami and we get heaven on earth. That's the mindset. And when you start batting from that frequency, you get given the answers as to what to do next. Okay, so whether it is director of a movie, whether it is artist, baker, musician, anything of that sort, when you are in that fulfilled state, that, I don't want to call it awakened, like, I guess, it's like the aware piece. You're not thinking, you're completely just present in your body. That's when you get the intuition, which is that internal knowledge that comes to you from God. And if you do the meditative practices, like I like doing, you can sometimes see images, you can see visions, and that can help you out too. But usually you get into the state of receiving, and then you're grateful for what you're receiving. You're grateful for the outcome as if it's already here. And then just sit in that present stillness and listen. And whatever comes in, sure, your ego might argue with it, but that's part of life. Even for myself, starting a channel and doing that, I had to argue with my ego for probably a decade, okay, before I even tried it. I always knew I had to do something on camera. I just was like coping. I was like, nah. I was too fat. I was too addicted to drugs. I was not who I'm supposed to be. And now, after all that time, I'm like, well, shit, I've conquered literally every fucking addiction there is, pretty much. I understand the human brain pretty well. I understand the soul because I've been raked across the coals so many times. Oh, I get it now. It all had to happen like that for you to be who you're meant to be. Oh, crazy, right? We just got to step into it. And we have to look at our past life, not to hold ourselves accountable for it in like, oh, you're a bad person. You did this. Don't do that. okay? But look at it for the lessons buried in every single negative moment. Anything you perceive as negative is a blessing. A blessing. Because a lot of times when things are good, it sucks. It kind of sucks. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, like you don't grow. But then when I remember my favorite time when I used to do any type of accounting work was either tax season when I did taxes or month-end close, because it is hell on earth for like 3 fucking days. And I'm like, let's go. Burn the boats. Like, let's just get it done. Let's just slay. Just keep going. Keep ripping through. Keep pounding the pavement. I fucking love that. Your back's against the wall. It feels nice. Right? So all the stuff that is like those high stress environments, that negativity, anything that brings a lot of emotional charge back to you is important to figure out, because it could be something that you're storing as trauma in your body that you can release. Or that lesson, once integrated and learned, is going to lead you to the next place you're supposed to be in your life. If you think you have this shit figured out, you don't. Nobody does. I will admit it, I do not. I don't know what I'm gonna do a year from now. I don't know about 2 years. I don't know about 3. I don't know about 1,000. Who even knows? Who knows? We create with our own thinking all of these different timelines, when in actuality, all we need to do is get into the alignment of the divine timeline that was always there, always meant for you. And by the way, it's the one that you were always destined to choose. Instead of doing all this thinking, and just do some more walking. Blissfully walking, and stop caring so much. I think the world will be a much better place once everyone sort of gets on the same page of, man, it's okay. It's okay. Be yourself. Post your content, post your music, post your paintings. Whatever your gift is to share it. And everyone just kind of gets on the same page of like, hey man, that's awesome. That's your gift? Awesome, cool. Man, I'll buy some. That's not, I mean, it depends what it is. Definitely. I mean, if you're selling chocolate, I'll buy some chocolate for sure. I love me some chocolate. But that's the whole point. We just got to get back to that. So rewire those thoughts. You know, just understand that the reality that you are currently living is a prison cell of your own construction, and the bars are the beliefs that you have. Okay, you can open the bars up. They could be positive beliefs or they could be constricting ones. You get to decide. You get to pick. But I will tell you, there is absolutely no benefit past learning the initial lesson. Everything past the initial lesson is insanity, okay? You're going to keep getting the same lesson given to you if you keep doing the same mistake over and over and over again, because life is a cycle. But as you conquer the mistake and you learn the lesson that you're supposed to learn about yourself and your own self-worth, your own self-validity, is it validation? Fuck it. You know, self-love. As you increase that, you progress and you get bigger obstacles. And obstacles are not something to be afraid of, but it's actually, it's a good thing. Because if you see something as like, holy fuck, dude, how am I supposed to beat that? That means you're in the prime position. Prime position for big guy to make himself known. Because miracles can happen. You just have to believe in them. You have to believe in your success. You have to believe in what you're here for, and just watch how things just miraculously work out. They just happen. You happen upon that random opportunity, the random conversation, you run into a certain individual, you chop it up with them for a while. Like, everything is synchronized in this realm. Everything is synchronized. There are no coincidences. Zero coincidences. Okay? So, wake up. Negativity, get rid of it. Rewire it. Transmute it. Increase it to positivity. Work on your vibe. Get your emotions and your vibration in a good state of being where you are open to receiving. When you are open to receiving, give me 10 minutes, give me 20 minutes of silence. Just close your eyes and just be grateful. Just be thankful for what you are receiving. And then listen to the messages. And then take divine inspired action on what you're supposed to be doing. Now, there are individuals that don't need to do the meditation. They just automatically, they wake up, they're already in their alignment. They already know what to do. Okay? If you don't know what to do, I would recommend doing that. Okay? You just want to get yourself into a good mood. Realistically speaking, an actual good mood. Play with your dog, dance around the house, go on a nice walk, turn off your phone. You know, time in nature is amazing for healing the soul and hearing from the universe. But that's really how easy life is. Everybody's got a divine blueprint. You get access to it more and more as you walk the path. More and more. It gets easier for you. And as you tune into that higher vibration, that higher frequency, instead of all the distractions around you, then it gets so much easier. So much fucking easier to know what to do. And as you sort of know what to do, over time, it just becomes you. You just start to embody it. And then at that point, it's like life gets very, very simple. It gets very simple because you are always that frequency. And when you're always that frequency, there isn't that lag time. There probably will be a point in my life where I no longer need to meditate, other than some other weird shit that I like doing in there. But just receiving and then going, just immediately just going. And whatever that is in your own mind, whatever you can see in your visions, in your imagination, it is things that are possible. Your memories, well, I should say your imagination are memories that you just haven't experienced yet in your own consciousness. But if you can see it vividly, I guarantee you there is a timeline in which it exists. So just step into it. Be happy. Be joyous. Clean up your fucking thoughts, man. Just chill. You know? Just enjoy life. Just drink a coffee. Whatever it is. Just enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself. Embody peace. Embody love. Embody joy. And just spread it around. Spread it to the people. You have no idea how much you are actually helping the world just by embodying the peace that you have been. Really. Being dead honest. When you walk around and there's somebody that's having a reasonable crash out, right? There's something going on in their life. They're stressed out. They're negative. They're anxious. And you just walk up to them and you pat them on the back and you tell them it's all going to be okay. It's going to be good. Right? Everything is going to work out better than you could possibly expect. Everything happens for a reason. When you reassure people and you inject them with a little bit of kindness, a little bit of compassion, a little bit of empathy, and you put their mind at ease from having all these negative thoughts and you turn them back to the light, that sends out a ripple. Okay, so That's what we're all supposed to be doing. And the best way you can do that is being your highest self. Do what you were put here to do. All right? The better you do that, the more everyone else is going to want to do what they were put here to do. All right? Love you guys. Namaste. Bye.